Alright, Nurse and Bandits, let's talk about it. So we got a major update video for you guys. So please stick with me. I appreciate it and nevertheless enjoy the ride. That's definitely what he said. I digress, but in the last video I made about One Piece, I talked about how Luffy and Nami got captured. You also still have Chopper and Carrot sitting around in the mirror world, as well as Pedro and Brook going to fire the road poneglyph. Damn. Nevertheless, we saw the Vinsmoke family sit there and talk with Big Mom about all the plans that's supposed to be happening for the wedding. And of course, you start seeing things like her giant library that's literally housing everything, like all these mythical creatures and people and things of that nature. And as long as you open the book, you get to see them and they kind of come to life. It's weird, it's freaky, it's definitely on some Alice in Wonderland type vibes. But Judge asked a very interesting question to Big Mom, basically asking, we've seen every other race on this island except giants. Why is that? Boy, when I tell y'all, Big Mama was pissed off, bro. Like, I'm trying to find out now what's wrong with the giant. But of course, that answer wasn't given to us, and instead, somebody informed Big Mom that they captured Luffy and Nami. And then Big Mom had to hit Luffy with the FaceTime audio because, she don't got enough data and her Wi-Fi kind of sucked for them to actually see her face. And Luffy told her basically, yeah, just to let you know, I'm still going to kick your ass. Like, show yourself so we can go ahead and throw these hands. And I'm still going to save Sanji at the end of the day. Big Mom was all laughing and stuff like, oh my gosh, you thought you was going to beat me? You're there. And my captors and everything are going to, of course, murder you, as well as I got a surprise for y'all. Threats, I ain't buying, but look what I got from Fishman Island. That's a bar. Nevertheless, this little black box of horrors is now in Big Mom's possession, and I don't know what it's going to do or what's inside of it. Nevertheless, it's supposed to be very, very dangerous. Actually, that's a lie. I believe that it's supposed to explode in her face, considering how Fishman Island ended. Nevertheless, of course, Big Mom's like, okay, how'd you end up getting here anyway through all my security and things? And she's like, oh, well, I follow Lola's Viva card. Boy, I heard of disappointed fathers and everything, especially when their sons don't make it to the league, but I never seen a mama hate their child this much. And speaking of a hate on Lola, outside of her saying, no, I've been trying to get her murked off for like a while now, she dropped some knowledge that I was over here wondering what's going on. Who was Lola supposed to marry that would have literally given Big Mom the power to defeat Shanks, Whitebeard, and Kaido? And I'm starting to feel like it has to be some sort of giant, and that's the reason why they're not on the island, because something just don't seem right. But I digress. There was a bunch of other banter going around, and then, of course, we cut to Pedro and Brook going on their mission. There's a bunch of commotion going on. You hear destruction and everything going on everywhere. And, of course, Big Mom's getting pissed, even more than what she originally was. And right now, I'm starting to feel like this whole arc is just to purposely piss off Big Mom. Like, come on now. We're going to see how far we can rile up an emperor and see what they end up doing at the end. In the midst of this all, Pudding decides, I'm going to go for a walk, which, of course, she's going to head to go see Luffy and Nami. And, of course, speaking of Brook, like, this man is just hard carrying. Like, Brook is the definition of it's a 1v4 in Search and Destroy on Call of Duty, and Brook is still going to carry the team to victory. Warzone, Fortnite, Apex. He's the last man of our crew. And, of course, not only does he revive us, but he still hard carries to the end of the match. Like, I heard so many rumblings of Brook literally carrying Whole Cake. I'm seeing it now. Not even just that, but like, I definitely need this on a t-shirt. Like, legitimately. Nevertheless, Sanji's out on his own escapade, of course, to make Pudding happy. Pudding also pulls up on Nami and Luffy, and she's apologizing for getting them captured. And at first, I didn't know what she was telling them in their ear, but I seen them calling her name, saying, no, Pudding, please come back, come back, come back, as Pudding's over there crying, telling them that she's not going to accept the wedding anymore, and giving off this illusion that she might just kind of, self-delete, if you know what I'm catching at. And if not that, then she was going to go defy Big Mom, and then Big Mom was, of course, going to take her out of the game server. All while Judge and the rest of the Vinsmoke family are sitting back saying, okay, so what's going to happen when Sanji and Pudding get married? And Judge is like, well, they're going to live with us, because if they live with us, then in case Big Mom wants to pull some sneaky stuff, guess what? We have her daughter as a hostage. And if we have her daughter as a hostage, we have leverage at the end of the day. I don't like you, but that's a very smart plan. And of course, I hate Sanji's siblings outside of Reiji because they're just a-holes. You finally see your brother and your only thought is just like, man, I can't wait to kick his ass again. Nevertheless, Carrot and Chopper were trapped until we found out that basically there was a copy of Carrot that was playing as a decoy, and Carrot was sitting there in the roof. Chopper, of course, goes into his monster form. They knock over a giant pot of hot broth, and Shorty gets hit with the worst case of third-degree burn I've seen recently in anime. At least in the aspect of like a hot liquid hitting somebody. And of course, we all of a sudden decided to get a anime crossover event because when did Kira learn the Chidori? All jokes aside, whatever Pudding said to Luffy and Nami got Luffy ready to rip his arms off. And obviously, I'm sitting here thinking like, dang, she's really about to go sacrifice her own life just to protect Sanji and the rest of the Straw Hats. And for those who've been sticking around to this point of the video, one, thank you. And secondly, we're going to get to the reason why he's so pissed. Nevertheless, Big Mom finally pulled up on Brook, especially because he finally found the road ponograph. And Pedro is fighting Professor Eggman over here, who he, of course, decides to turn sunny side up. And not only that, but we see that Pedro is missing an eye, mostly because of his first time that he was on Whole Cake Island. And because of that, Big Mom said, okay, both of y'all, I'm taking 100 years away from his life specifically. Try to do that. What happened? Oh, he died. Still had about 70 years left on his sentence. So that was going to Pedro. Peckham sat back and said, no, please. They're my family. They're my brothers. Please don't do it. And then she was like, well, I'll reduce it to 60 years, but I'm still going to probably die. And what'd he do? Will that reduce my sentence? And she said, you know what? Go ahead and live. I'm going to take 50 years away from you. And now we got breakfast in the morning. So, hey, that's all I need to see. Outside of that, Sanji is walking in the rain to go find Pudding. And he sees her, of course, through the window. He also sees that Pudding is talking to his sister. But, of course, it's something weird because her sister's leg is bleeding. So it's like, what happened? Boy, when I tell you that this reveal right here completely threw me off. And I know it shouldn't have because it's like, okay, who can you really trust? You know, don't instantly fall for the super nice character. But it was that situation of just being like, bro, why? And what really hurt about the whole situation is that she was over there dissing Sanji too. Like, Sanji really does not deserve all of this. And the reason why Luffy is looking like this, and Nami is looking like this, and the reason why Luffy is ready to rip his arms off is because of this little... Like, bro, she was dissing Sanji the whole time, saying he's a failure, he's a lowlife. Why would I ever mess with him? Like, that's the prince y'all gave me? Y'all thought I was supposed to be okay? As well as, Big Mom doesn't really care about y'all. She's gonna murk all of y'all at the end of the day. So once this whole wedding is over with, guess what? We take all of y'all technology, and there's nothing you can do about it. Sanji, man. And it's sad because that giant streak, yeah, that's just not rain. That's not really rain. This right here, this hurt me. Because I'm watching him literally hear how he's getting dissed and how nobody truly cares for him outside, of course, you know, the Straw Hats. But it's just like, nobody really cares about him. Nobody really loves him. He thought he could have finally been happy and could have protected his friends. And then he's still getting just stepped on and called a failure. And especially what added more emphasis and emotion to this scene was as he's trying to light his cigarette, yeah. And he's literally flicking. It's not working. The minute it actually does work, the raindrop hits the fire and it's like he can't do anything. This, man, Sanji deserves so much more. Nevertheless, we can get into a little speed run because, you know, only got so much time for the video. But outside of that, we found out that Pudding has the memory fruit and she was able to take out Reggie's memories so that way she's able to, you know, alter them and say, well, you don't remember this actually happening and me telling you that you're going to be executed. Main man Jinbei came back. He decided, no, let me go ahead and help Luffy and the rest of the Straw Hats out. Finally confirming that, of course, he rebelled against Big Mom. Carrot and Chopper are still looking for the mirror that can show Sanji that's in the castle. Sanji finds his sister after she literally woke up from not only her leg injury, but her memories being altered, and Sanji tells her everything that happened. Luffy is on the run to go find Sanji, and of course, main man Brook, he seems defeated by Big Mom. And he's defeated bad, because that man is naked. And of course, Brook likes his women, so if he didn't ask to see her panties, he definitely got a hard on for her. But to add another insult to everything, Reggie found out while she was young that Judge forced his wife to get surgery so that way they can modify the children. And in order to combat this, she was drinking poison. Like, you have to be the worst kind of husband to make your wife just literally say, I'm okay with not being with you. To the point of taking your own life, or at least assisting in taking your own life. And also, just to be kind of anime crossover and funny, is Judge the reason why Endeavor exists? But of course, Reiji is so clutch and she loves her brother because she told him, yeah, those bracelets, they're not going to actually explode. What's going to happen is nothing because I switched them out. And now, all we got upcoming is the wedding. Nevertheless, I'm ready to see how Sanji gets saved, how the rest of the Straw Hats get out of there, and of course, if Jinbei joins the Straw Hats after this. But without further ado, thank you all for taking the time to watch this video. I appreciate it. I love you all. Please share this and like it, comment. See y'all next time.